Okay, all right, cool. All right. Hi, hello everybody. My name is Ryle, and today I'm taking a nice little walk, and I wanted to talk about the use of the divine eye, or what we call the all-seeing eye. And, what does it mean to us, understanding our enlightenment, understanding what Christ consciousness is about, also understanding the cube understanding of why the all-seeing eye was used as a tool for enlightenment. It was a piece that when everybody understood themselves, they could better manage themselves. Where if they had anyone who came into that culture, they would be able to tell the natural instinct, because for them, they lived in a world of singularity. Where at that time we were more primal, we were more instinctive in nature, and we were more animal-like, but we were still intelligent human beings, highly intelligent. But we more so were in tune with the instinct of nature. And so that's what pretty much Christ consciousness is about. And that's why I want to talk about the all-seeing eye, because we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And this is a time where we all need to have our thoughts purified. And that means that, in order to really be able to move up into the crown chakra and to be a fully functional, higher capacity being, is that we have to remove all the darkness, all the clouds, everything that clouds our vision. All right. And so you see me walking around in this neighborhood, all right. And what you're saying is this is truth, right? This is the truth of life. And what you're seeing here is what we have to master. All right, this is walking on the streets, and this is why the base of the pyramid is so important. But it's why it's the biggest part of the pyramid, but it's the most important part of the pyramid, because it's the foundation of the pyramid. So when you look at this walk, learning about nature, seeing nature happens, really gaining a true foundation for life, right? This is where it all happens. All right, this looking and walking and being with the people. This is where the cutting edge of creation is happening. This is where new language is happening. This is where some of our greatest ideas is happening. And realities like this, where there's nothing, where people are trying to live that dream and they're manifesting it in their own way. All right, and so let me get back to the divine eye. Is that when we learn this tool, which we call in most situations, you'll see the karma wheel. All right, I like to call it your full compass. All right, and we have to look at our body, all right, as just a physical object. It's just a thing that moves. All right, and we are the consciousness within the body. All right, and so our consciousness has to be what we call 360 degrees, where we can navigate and we can see things and not hit the big glacier as we're walking into life and we're walking into people. Because just like I can be walking, I want you to see I'm straight down there. Somebody can be straight down there. All right. And as I'm walking up, all right, if I'm not able to tell the nature of this person, in the old days, it was important because, you were always crossing strangers and people who could be killers and rapists and all these things. And we had to be able to measure them. We had to be able to weigh and see what was the inconsistency in their nature. Because you got to remember, in those times, there's language barriers. There's a lot of things that separates us from understanding who we are. So these people were much more smarter. All right. When you think about wisdom is not taking something small and making it advance. Wisdom is taking something advanced and simplifying it to its greatest form, where it has now become small. Where now when you look at things, it's just like when you look at Albert Einstein, he broke energies down to mass and its two constants. All right, and that's how it kind of moves. That they kind of broke it down to that idea. And so for him, in the world, it was revolutionary, because they felt that formula itself described reality and energy itself. Working within a mash, working in two constants as far as how it's created, whether the negative or positive polarity. So he kind of broke it down, right? But it doesn't get into the third dimension aspect of navigating, right? So his formula only explains a point of view of life. We have to be able to see the whole circumference, the whole globe, the whole fulfillment, the whole illumination of an idea. And so when you look at, if everywhere we go, We see different people. How do we simplify the people down to one people? And this is what Christ consciousness was about. This is what the cube was about. The cube was about, if you know anyone who has a Rubik's Cube or who's a Rubik's Cube master, what they'll tell you is there's the key to solving all sides of the cube. Right? That is what the all-seeing eye is. It is the key to solving all sides of the cube. So when you look at how consciousness spins and rotates and is consistently changing itself, right? And we talk about, hey, you got to do your shadow work, you got to do your inner work, all right? You got to do your outer work, you got to do your heavenly work. But we're always talking about this. But what we don't realize is that every time we change something in the past, guess what? We change something in our present and possibly the future. Every time we do something within, we also do something without of us. So every time we change something, we're also changing another side or enhancing another archetype or bringing out something that we haven't quite seen, another formula, another a situation that we got to somehow cube it together. All right. And so that's what it's like that when we travel this world. How you doing, Aminata? All right. And so that's the idea of all of this, is that when you walk, you have to be able to solve problems as they arise. You have to be able to solve things as you're walking and navigating. You don't have time to go Nam Myoho Renge and go You have to have the eye of an eagle to be able to discern things from a distance and not try to discern things when they're up so close, because it may be just too late. All right. When you look at children and you letting someone in your house, you can't let everyone into your house, because you have to have some key to understanding how do I protect what's mine, but also go out and make more and make better connections. There has to be some discernment where I'm not letting snakes into my house. And so that's what the all-seeing eye is. It is a key for discernment, for enlightenment. And so as we continue to grow and we meet new people, we have to have a filter option. And so when we look at reality itself, remember when we got the call ID, the call ID allowed us to filter who came and who we spoke to. When we saw the number, we was like, oh, we don't want to deal with them. I don't want to deal with them. So it made us discerning telemarketers, and we was able to discern junk. We was able to discern a lot. All right. And so that's what's happening in our reality is that we have all type of people that's melting. That's a melting pot. We got the Hispanics are moving with the blacks are moving with the Hispanics, the whites are moving over here, the hillbillies over there. Everybody's moving together. The Arabs is moving over here. So right now we got all these colors in this one little space. And guess what we're trying to do? We're trying to make all sides equal. Right. And so when we look at the all-seeing eye was a template for singularity. It was a template that when everyone knew it in the community, no one was afraid, because we was able to see when someone was hurt. Our sensitivities were heightened. We didn't allow things to be born and to stay a certain way, because we knew exactly when to change, and we knew exactly how to use ancient alchemy, all right, which is understanding the elements, understanding our nature. We understood how to be the opposite, or how to work within rhythms, or to understand gender, or to understand these hermetic laws. So this is when we're talking about understanding the tree of life was important at that time. It was important because, the tree of life represents all of what we've learned. And how can we be better if we do not know how to discern ourselves, and if we've never taken ourselves off for a spin? Because I see some people, they go to one part of the globe and they preach from that corner. All right. I see some people, they go over there, they preach from that point. But the idea of mastery is to be amongst the people, working with the people as one of them. All right. And there's no discernment. Sometimes people can't even tell the difference, but you're able to go in and solve a lot of problems. And what I like to say is fix a lot of timelines. As people, we're still fixing and repairing reality. So when we have people who are masters at this Rubik's Cube, or what we call the all-seeing eye, it's like a way on how to evolve levels. It's how to go about your world and to fix problems and to see dysfunctions within the nature of man, and to see how that dysfunction that you see based off of certain measurements, certain angles, certain lines, certain developments. Now you are now seeing with definition. You're seeing with more than color. All right. Right now we see in color. We see in sex. We're discerning and having disagreements with people with the opposite sex. Who cares what you do in the bedroom? It's how you treat people on the outside. If they choose not to have children this lifetime, that's their choice. That's the main the thing that we're arguing is when you look at the gay gender, the gay idea is that these people are just choosing not to have children this lifetime, and some of them are wanting to adopt. The sexual idea. Hey, if you're alpha male, there you just don't get it. If you're alpha female, hey, you just don't get it. It's not your reality. That's their reality. All right, and just to know that some people here are working on self mastery. And so that's the idea, is that in this reality, we're giving many formulas, many problems that you are given to solve yourself, not anyone else. All right. So as you go about your walk, you're going to be given the people for you to fix. It's like when you look at your reality, you are trying to evolve and to get, what I like to say, to it's like a game, and there's a simulation. Let's say you lived in a certain area, but for some reason every day this area was not, it never got old. It stayed new. You was excited about playing basketball every single day. So what happens is life has to get to itself down to where that basketball no longer can stimulate you the way it used to. It has to become dull so you can change things. So what happens is when you look at the all-seeing eye helps you observe the inner tickings of people, the inner thoughts, the inner psychology of people. So once you see that you're caught up in a cycle of thoughts or a cycle of behavior, you can know how to spin out of that and not get caught up in people's realities. Because that's the idea, is that when you navigate this reality, you want to stay in your own lane, be yourself, and not get caught up in other people's problems. But at the same time, you need help. See, that's the thing, is that as much as we want to say we can do it ourselves, we still need help. So you just got to know that when you're building this machine, all right, this machine that has all these people in your life that's going to be helping you work on the inner self-worth and outer self-worth, right, and helping you fulfill all these aspects of your being that makes you a complete being, right, it's about still making sure you take the right advice from the right people. Because just like a tree, even though it's a seed, it still needs the nutrients of the surrounding to still grow itself and to sustain itself. All right, so never ever think that we don't need people. Our idea is to master people. I master the psychology of man. So as we grow up, we can be a benefit to the creator and know how to enhance. It's just like you have to learn the psychology of plants, how they grow. Do they need light? Do they need less light? Do they need more water? Do they need light and water at this time? Do they need nourishment? Do you need to talk to it? Do you need to put candles and crystals around it? Right? People need to always know the inner psychology of how things work to sustain itself and to keep it coming. Right? To keep this thing growing and producing the way it's supposed to produce. So that's what we have to become as people, is that we have to become so intimate with people that we understand the very emotions of what they're emoting. It's not just, hey, you're acting out this. I've watched you all day and you acted out at this specific time. It seems that you were watching this show, and when this show happened, this stimulus happened to you. You started going through these reactions, and this was the inner alchemy behind how you were responding in your reality. All right. So when we're processing information, we have to learn how to be honest with the very instinct, the impulse of nature, to see exactly how we're dealing with ourselves, how we're dealing with people, and